We are back on day 3 of Oshkosh and part 3 of Sadie the Savage Cub's story. It started with a terrifying public service alert calling for damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes. I was in a panic, to say the least. Mike to the rescue. He has a friend Chris from Pack Air on Whiteman Field that has a hangar and let us put Sadie in there. I was so relieved. We taxied over early in the day. Then we went to enjoy the day, a lot less worried for Sadie, but worried for all of the other airplanes. People were bubble wrapping them and trying to keep them safe. We went back to the hangar later that afternoon, and Sadie was surrounded by the stars of Oshkosh. She was tucked under the Hellcat's wing and next to one of only 10 airworthy P-38 Lightnings in existence, and beside the Red Bull helicopter. And that RV right there ended up being Grand Champion. The storm had impressive lightning and some rain, but the worst of it stayed away from Oshkosh, thank goodness. No damage to any airplanes was reported. Day 4, we were able to go to the hangar and do an oil change on Sadie. When we had lost all of the oil, Doc didn't have Sport 4, so we needed to replace it. Also, after replacing the throttle spring, she had been running rough. A big shout out of thanks to Morris Smith of South Mississippi Light Sport for coming all the way over to the hangar from the Rotax booth to sink the carbs. We taxied back to our camping spot by the Red Barn in time for the spectacular night air show. Day 5 was a little less hectic. We got to try out the PPG simulator and watch the afternoon air show, which was so moving. It was about Pearl Harbor. I would have remembered and enjoyed high school history if it had been taught like that. Watched the Stoll demo, and the Goodyear blimp did a low pass over the ultralight field. He also did maneuvering. I have a crush on that blimp. The Saturday night air show did not disappoint. Amazing flying and fireworks. We headed for home on August 1st. It was a pretty quick taxi and uneventful takeoff. landed in Joliet, Illinois to get fuel. Stoll pilot Stan Shimkus also stopped. As we were taxiing back out for departure on their grass field, we heard a pop and felt a clunk. The tailwheel leaf spring had broken. Now we had to figure out how to get Sadie over to the hangars. We had several Joliet pilots come out and help us. One of them had a golf cart. So I ran across the street to an abandoned gas station and found some styrofoam in the trash. We tried to put her tailwheel up on the golf cart, but no good. Then Key, who was building a Super Stoll Highlander hybrid, fashioned a piece of aluminum to act as a tail spring. Mike clamped it on and I taxied back. Once at the hangars, Mike and our new friend Mark replaced it with the real thing. Mark had a spare Cub tail spring at his hangar that he just let us have. Thank you, Tailwheel Team Joliet. Next stop, Davies County Airport, then Lafayette, Tennessee, and finally Mig Valley, the Whitmire family's airstrip in Dunlap, Tennessee. Home. We got to spend the night at the farm and had lunch on the picnic table outside our house with my mom. The next morning, we took off for Clemson, where Mike is building his Super Stoll and our temporary home. We made it to the other side of Chattanooga when we started shedding avionics. We diverted into Collegedale, Tennessee, and found out from the mechanic that the voltage regulator had fried. We called my mom and she came and got us and drove us all the way to Clemson. Huge thanks, Mom. I had to fly to London for work and my amazing love Mike drove over to Collegedale while I was gone to help the mechanic install the voltage regulator. He also replaced my battery and the capacitor. Man, I love him. He then drove to Chattanooga to pick me up at the airport and dropped me off at Collegedale so I could fly Sadie back to Clemson. The next day, he took off her boot cowl and started rewiring her hot mess of a panel. He is the best. So needless to say, Oshkosh 2021 was quite the adventure for me, Mike, and Sadie. Here's to a happy Oshkosh 2022 with a little less adventure. Thanks for watching.